Hey, Disco Machine here, Beer Baseball blog, The Adventures of Craft Beer and Baseball. This is the Beer Baseball Hoppy Hour, episode 4 for December 12th, 2020. This is a roundtable baseball discussion. All as we ask that you bring something to drink and an opinion. Before we get started, wherever you are watching us live today, please give us a like and a comment. Let us know that you're out there. And always, we'd appreciate it if you subscribe, turn on those notifications. So let's meet the panel for today. First, he is a semi-retired luchador who loves himself some booze and rock and roll. He is the Beer Baseball blog field correspondent and senior research analyst. He is the former Taro and the current Kevin Lyon.
And always still the best chef in the West, Daddy. It's good to be here.
I like that you're semi-retired. That means that you can actually be booked. People can get in touch with you.
Because if I say retired, then all of a sudden, then people are going to try to book me. I don't want to pull the Terry Funk. That's why I always say semi-retired.
Yeah. Right on. Right on. All right. Our guest, he is from Squared Circle Diamond King. From the hot corner of Canada, he is the Big Hurt, Allan Jepsen. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I think I might have, let's see, Squared Circle Diamond King. You are the Squared Circle Diamond King, not from.
Yeah.
All right.
From the hot corner of Canada.
Hot corner of Canada, which is where?
It is Vancouver, British Columbia.
All right.
Nice. We'll have a lot to talk about on this. So we would definitely want to talk about baseball up there and Canada baseball as well. I am formerly the king of the Copacabana. You may have seen me on Wrestling Society X on MTV. I was formerly an owner of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. From behind the velvet rope of Studio 54 in Tempe, Armenia. It's been a long time since I said that. I am Disco Machine Michael Mondragon. So let's get to it. You know what? I'm going to do what I do. I would have my whole entrance, and then I would take off the mask and do my disco thing. What I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to be putting on my baseball cap and putting on my, I can finally see. Awesome. Right on. So let's before we start out, let's do this.
What?
Allan, let's start with you. What are you drinking tonight?
From Vancouver, a local brewery, Parallel 49 Trash Panda.
Oh, let's see that. Oh, that is awesome.
It's all right on. It's hazy. Very good.
Yeah.
So a hazy beer, about what, 5%, 5.5 ABV?
5.5, right on the nose.
There you go.
Very good.
Very. So do you like hoppier beers, or do you like a certain type of beer, or like what do you go for?
I'm at the weirdest end of the spectrum for the beers I like, because I love sours and I love stouts.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I know it's the polar opposite of what people, if you like sours, you don't typically like stouts, but I usually I gravitate to those, but I do like a good hazy pale and yeah.
So do you like more American beer, or do you like more Canadian beer?
One of my favorite breweries is in Seattle, so if I had to choose, I would probably choose American beer.
Right on. So Kevin, or excuse me, Taro.
Excuse me.
Taro.
Yes.
I kayfabed. Sorry. Sorry about that.
All right.
What are you drinking tonight?
Well, we found out, we wanted to go for a while. There's actually a brewery in, I believe, Chino called Luchador Brewing. So I've been looking for an excuse to go over there, and this was the day because Taro was out. He's got some beer. He's ready. And this is called the Lucha Lager, a Mexican style. As you see, it's at 5.7. So I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to take this mask off because I can't wear this for this long. Look how crooked it is on me. The horn's falling off. It's been to a lot of abuse. But let me just have a drink with the mask on for old time's sakes.
Yeah, and I'm having the same thing. I have the growler. I'm going to pour it in, so we'll have a toast in just a second. But as you demask, right? Are you going to demask? Or are you gonna,
after the toast? After the toast.
After the toast. Okay, so Taro,
yes, sir.
You actually lost your mask in a match, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes,
so I hate to go over this history with you. I know it's
I barely remember it.
Heart.
I barely remember it. I mean, I was kind of knocked unconscious towards the end of it. The point where I set out from New York City when I was trying to say I wrestled in New York City. That was kind of funny.
No, why would
You know,
I was going to ask you this? Why did you want to tell people that you wrestled in New York City? Like,
I don't know. Okay?
Why was that so important?
I was a little knocked. I was knocked a little loopy. All right. You're lucky I can remember my name. All right. Kevin Live in New York City.
Yeah, we'll have to post that match. That match was against Super Dragon, and you lost your mask, but it was an incredible match, one that's been talked about many times, and definitely is when you're not here anymore, that's going to live on forever. It's one of the great matches of SoCal.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let's get to our
Allan,
toast.
have you seen that match?
Oh, sorry.
I have not. I don't think I have. I've like PWG was one of the first main indies that I kind of started watching. So I'm definitely gonna have to go back and watch that.
Yeah. So this was
actually
in Revolution Pro, which was kind of like what kind of led to PWG. But this is one of that rare period where PWG started in summer of 03, and this mass match was Thanksgiving weekend of 2003. So it was like right as those two were kind of crossing paths. And I don't know if the match is available online because for a long time I couldn't find it anywhere. The only way you could have got it is if you had like a Super Dragon compilation DVD. You usually tell people, you get if you want to see me on YouTube for sure, there's a match that made the rounds at XPW with myself and Rising Sun against Excalibur and Super Dragon, which a lot of people really enjoyed as well.
Kevin, straighten out your mask. Excuse me, Taro, straighten out your mask.
I'm trying. I know. I'm like, where's my nose?
Your nose is like it's in one side. It looks crazy.
Well, I think it's because I didn't lace it up because I was just casually wearing it for right now. So I'm like, and I'm looking going, I look worse than I ever remember. It looks like can we get to the toast sticking out of your nose, please? Or he's gonna just punish me by dragging this out.
Well, let's do it. So cheers. Thank you for joining on the Hoppy Hour. We have some people that are actually in there in the chat. Mr. Excitement, Ed Brown, thank you for joining. It will not be profanity laden, but we'll have some heated words, I'm sure. Angelo Trinidad, who couldn't make it today, but thank you for joining us. Right. Yeah, our partner on the Beer Baseball blogcast. Oh, yeah. Chad M, thank you so much, and saying hello to everybody. David, thank you for joining, and he couldn't join us last Tuesday, but here he is on Saturday. And Cowboy Jack Durango, joining us. Taro. Thank you. Yes, Taro. So wait, thank you.
Where'd Taro go?
Nope. Did he? Oh, I was reading something and he disappeared.
I don't know what happened.
Oh, what happened? So cheers to everybody. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for joining us, guys. See, now you see what happens if you're a luchador. You take off your mask, you're a hot mess afterwards.
Well, I always heard that a mask is like basically like a shoe. It's like not all masks fit faces, so it's like you have to work around.
Like I said, I didn't type. I mean, Charles didn't have it laced up in Titans, so that's why I looked a little off on him.
Well, tell us more about the Big Hurt. Obviously, a play on Frank Thomas.
Yep.
And but I love everything that you're doing, down to the baby blues of the St. Louis Cardinals. That's my team, so I love that. So tell us more.
Basically, it's been a year since I started it. It was just I was kind of sick of what I was doing as a previous gimmick, and I was like, if I'm going to continue this, I'm going to do something that I really want to do. And so I was like, I'm going to combine baseball and I'm going to combine wrestling. And I had a handful of other names picked out, and my friend's like, no, you should probably be the Big Hurt. He goes, it makes sense for you. And I'm like, people are going to immediately think of Frank Thomas. And we only got called out a couple times for it. So it's been a good year, and I'm excited for what's going to happen in the future with this baseball gimmick.
Yeah. So like has it got you more bookings, or has it got you more attention?
Definitely more tension, just because it's more entertaining. I have my banner behind me that I do for promos and post-match interviews, just like you would see some of the guys doing, post-game interviews. And so it's definitely brought out a lot of creativity in me to think of different ways to use the baseball and bring it into wrestling. So it's given me an opportunity to get new gear, which I love getting new gear. So
Yeah.
I just want to keep doing more and more of it.
That's
Allan,
awesome.
Were you like, obviously you grew up in Vancouver. I don't really think of like Vancouver as a baseball town except for the Canadians.
Yeah.
Were you playing baseball in high school? I mean, what was your baseball background, if any?
Probably from about 4 years old till 20, I played decently high level baseball. Never played any pro or anything like that. And then a few years ago, I ran an adult men's team of baseball, and kind of, I don't know, my arm can't take it anymore. But at 35, it's hard to play with people that are 19 years old. It's just not as fun.
Yeah. As they say in baseball, you're on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So, have you been going to Vancouver games like pretty much the whole time, your whole life while you've been up there?
Yeah, we used to go a lot of the times, like with our teams and stuff like that. Like we'd go as a team as the year-ending thing, and then as soon as I was old enough to drive, I would go to games on weekends and stuff. Like it was when I was younger, they were a AAA team,
right?
Which was to me insane to be able to try and play AAA games with the weather that it is up here. But now it was short season A, and now it's high A. Yeah, coming forward in the next season.
That's what I was really surprised about when I saw this. I'm like, the Northwest League is gonna be all season. I'm like, there's gonna be a lot of rainouts between Vancouver and all the teams in the Washington area, and even Hillsborough, I'm sure too. Yeah. Oh,
just all like. There's going to be so many rainouts, but I don't think they care that much.
No, they don't.
So, like, as long as they get, a partial season, they're happy.
Yeah.
So,
I imagine there's going to be a lot of injuries because of, the weather is actually, like in spring training, they go from like this Florida and Arizona where it's beautiful. And then they go right back to New York, Cleveland, and they get snowed out or Chicago. I always worry about injuries, long term. The NFL actually had that with their shortened season and prep time this year. They're being decimated with injuries, not so much because of the weather, but because of the adverse schedule and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see how that kind of plays out.
Yeah, especially with the Blue Jays, they draft a lot from down south. So they get these 18-year-old kids that are throwing 100 sometimes, and they just want to get up there and impress. So they're throwing as hard as they can and jumping into this weather that they've never seen. It could be very dangerous, but I guess we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting though.
Yeah.
All Angels there you go. 7-inning double headers. Yeah. So that's what they're going to have a lot of those probably.
Yeah.
I saw one of those in Tacoma like 6 years ago when it was doubleheader. They played 7 innings. And that was AAA, and I was very surprised that they did that, even at that level.
Yeah, when I was in Beloit, they had a doubleheader because I didn't know it at the time, so I actually got a free game when I went to it. I actually have a video on it, but one of the greatest things about that was it was 7-inning doubleheaders, which is fine for me, but you could drink during the whole game, and it was on a Sunday. It was wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
that was to my advantage, a little hack on that because I always think about that. So I'm like, oh wow, you could have 14 innings of just pure bliss and then go to sleep at night.
So one fun thing that Michael and I learned when we went to Palm Springs, they do a thing called the California Winter League, and they'll actually have they actually make like team names that are affiliated with Canada. Like they have the Manitoba North Stars. Like they actually made their own teams for this. But that's where we first learned about what they said Canada rules about extra innings. The runner starts at second base, which now they even used it this year in Major League Baseball. That was the first time I had seen that. I'm like, what is this? And as we're just looking at each other like,
yeah.
I've always known it as they call it international rules.
Yeah.
And like at the level that I played up here, like in tournaments and things like that, they would always have the guy on second and start with one out. So when they did that, I was like, it seems a little childish to do that, but if it speeds games up.
Yeah.
How about this? I'm gonna say something that I said at the very beginning of this. The thing that does is do the exact opposite. It actually extends the games. And it happened in the World Baseball Classic. They actually had starting people at second base. And what happens is it actually starts off the scoring. So the people in the top of the inning actually potentially like score first, right? So then all of a sudden it becomes 4 runs, 5 runs. When they first did it, it was like they scored like 8 runs. The inning itself was like an hour. It did the exact opposite of what it was supposed to do. And I always tell people that they always talk about that rule. It actually does the opposite in a lot of instances.
Yeah, with how guys can hit nowadays, it's, you know, all they have to do is place the ball in the outfield, and the guys are fast enough to, like, they're always putting in a pinch runner to go.
Right.
So they're going to put the fastest guy available, and usually they can tag up anytime. So yeah, no, I can see that happening.
Totally. So let me ask you about, so how long have you been wrestling?
I started training in 2007.
Okay.
I wrestled for about 3 years, and then I disappeared. And then I came back in 2016, and I've been doing it ever since. So probably 7-8 years total.
Cool.
But yeah, that was in 2007.
Where did you train at?
I trained at what is now, it's no longer there, but called the Slam Academy in Surrey, British Columbia. And it's from a company called ECCW.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was Michelle Starr in that group way back in the day? Or am I thinking of another group?
No, he was around, but he was kind of he kind of stepped away a little bit that time. There was another disco.
Yes, Disco Fury.
Disco Fury.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So he was my first trainer, and then he sold off the company and transitioned to another couple trainers.
Gotcha.
Nice.
I was asking about Michelle Starr because he actually did come down once and wrestle on a couple of our Rev Pro shows back in like 2001. It just seemed like a really random fit, that gimmick being with us, but you know, it was cool to have him down here. And he went for random lucha shows too.
He's from there. He's from California.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Then.
Guess who wrestled Michelle Starr and beat him?
Humble brag.
Yeah. Actually, it was kind of bittersweet because he didn't like it. He didn't like that at the time. So and I understand why. It was just like it just happened to be the way. I didn't say like, oh, I have to win. I wasn't even in that position, but I did wrestle him, and gosh, I'm wondering if I'm almost positive I have it in my tapes. That would be a neat one to pull out. Yeah.
Was that in Anaheim or then Santa Fe Springs? I don't recall.
And yes, Santa Fe Springs.
Okay, that's right. Okay, so that was 2001. Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's but I never wrestled in Canada. I didn't wrestle north of the border. I did wrestle south of the border, but
hey, no, you wrestled in Alaska. Come on.
That's not Canada. It's even further north. You said north of the border. I'm like, but Canada, Alaska's even way further up than where he is. Considered north of the border. See, I don't know these things.
I'm just saying it's north of the continental U.S. border. You know,
that makes sense.
Technically, yeah, it's north, but yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna put that on my resume.
But you know, it's one of those things. How many people could say, "Oh, I wrestled in Alaska"? You know?
Yeah. I've actually wrestled in Hawaii and Alaska, and so Kevin wrestled. We wrestled in Hawaii. Yeah. So that's a lot of people like they don't even get out of like the United States or their own state, let alone they wrestle.
I mean, I never wrestled in Mexico either. You know, so
you wrestle in a lot of Mexican places.
Yes,
in LA.
I really wrestled in a ring where the wall is like literally like about 100 feet behind me. it like some shopping center right before you cross the border in San Diego area. Just so weird. So weird.
We wrestle at Mexican restaurants and different salons, the clubs.
Hey, one of our favorites was Compton College parking lot.
That's right.
Where literally no one approached the ring because there's a tree next to the ring. It had this crazy swarm of bees just spinning around, and we had to wrestle in this ring while all these bees are going batshit crazy next to us.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I cursed. Sorry.
Yeah.
There you go, that round. That's my first entire.
We're gonna have our swear jar. Yeah. So at that Compton College, actually, I think. I'm trying to think of what our match was. It was like. I remember like Shogun being in it, but actually TJ Perkins was in that match. I actually got busted.
I can look it up.
I think Super Dragon like elbowed me right in the eye and actually busted open my eye. And TJ was like, I was supposed to do a sequence with TJ, and he was like, "Don't bleed on me, don't bleed on me." And I'm like, I can't help if I can bleed on you. Sorry, dude, it ain't ballet. So it's like, but it was funny. It's just a funny instance. But it was in the Compton College parking lot of all places.
Yeah, because we used to do this thing called Car Consumer Pro, and hey, I'm going to tie it back into baseball. So these two guys who had wrestling affiliations. One of them was actually is in the Peg. His name's Marty Goldstein, and he's actually from Winnipeg, and he was involved in this. So they would set up like these used car sales in various parking lots. And one time we actually had it, and they do wrestling as the entertainment. We actually had it in the parking lot of what is now the Inland Empire 66ers Stadium.
Right.
Stadium. Yeah. So that's the closest I can say to saying I wrestled in a baseball stadium. I wrestled in the parking lot of one, which I'll gladly take.
But Kevin, you actually could have wrestled in Lake Elsinore.
I
would
know.
Have been your second match.
I know.
No, it's not a bad story. It's not a bad story.
I could have wrestled the Diamond, but I was too hurt from my first match. I couldn't get out of bed for like 2 days.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a good story, Kevin. You should. Yeah. Do you want me to tell it for you?
You really want to tell this? All right. So here's how my first match happened. Gosh, we're really gonna make this. We're never gonna get to baseball. But so, Ron, American Wild Child, who ran Rev Pro. This is pre-Rev Pro. He had an in with APW in 1997. This is when APW Gym Wars was like the West Coast equivalent of ECW.
Yep.
It's like, oh my gosh, you go here.
If you've seen Beyond the Mat, that APW Gym Wars, that was the gym.
Yes. And so for whatever reason, the promoter who ran the group, Ron connected with him because they wanted Blitzkrieg and Super Dragon. This is when Dragon was just starting and Blitzkrieg was out there. They didn't wrestle very much, but Ron was the guy who would make all the deals and then bring his guy up with them. And the promoter wanted like the minis from Mexico. So he's going to bring up Ultimo Dragoncito, who still wrestles to this day, and Pequeño Piroff, who I believe still does as well. So they find out the night before that Pequeño Piroff's visa had expired. So they don't know if they're going to be able to get him across the border. I, at this point, had only been a referee and never wrestled a match, never really even took a bump except for a couple times getting beat up in a refereeing a match. But my extent of training was wrestling on a trampoline with Super Dragon, when he was a kid. Because we're cousins, we grew up across the street from each other. So all the time we would just wrestle on the trampoline. Yeah. There's your fun fact. I don't know if you knew about that.
Awesome.
So I get a phone call and it's Ron and someone else is on the phone with me begging me to like, come on, you got it. Can you fill in if this guy can't cross the border? Can you fill in? I'm like, I'm 5'7". You want me to be a Mexican mini? Because the limit on the minis are 5 foot tall. And I remember knowing that because my fandom of Lucha. And Ultimo Dragon's like Ultimo Dragoncito's like right there. He's like 5 foot. Yeah. And I made a joke. I'm like, I think I'm taller than Blitzkrieg. Why don't you use Blitzkrieg? Because he was going to be on the show. He's like, no. Blitzkrieg's taller than you. And I'm like, oh God, I don't really want to do this. And finally I said, okay, fine. I'll do it if I have to. If you can't. And I'm literally at work the next morning and they call and I get a call at my work says, hey, your mom's sick. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it means I got to go. And here's the funny part. My dad worked at the same Home Depot as I did. And yet he's still working. And I went home because my mom's sick. We drove 6 hours up to Hayward, California for my first match where I wrestled Ultimo Dragoncito, a guy who was like a star at Arena Mexico. He didn't speak English. I speak very little Spanish. Never had a match in my life. And we're trying to piece together something. And believe it or not, it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I wish we could find the video of it just so I could see. We did a pretty basic 7-minute match. And, Michael Mondragon was there selling merch for Ron,
Yeah. That was my first kind of foray into wrestling. And Vic Grimes actually turned over my merch table.
Yeah.
At one point. Yeah. But then the next day you were super hurt and couldn't do the match. So Blitzkrieg, yes, that Blitzkrieg from WCW before he was a star, actually put on the Ultra Taro Junior gear and had a match. It was in where the Lake Elsinore Storm.
Yep. Yeah. So the funny part is, you see I was Taro. I used to be called Ultra Taro Junior, and that's because there was a wrestler in Tijuana who wrestled as Ultrataro. He later ended up being more known for being like the second Psicosis. If you're a big Lucha fan, you probably would know who he is. You know, they would say the fake Psicosis, but I'm like, well, whatever, it is what it is. And another local guy bought the gimmick off of him. And he was wrestling around locally as Ultrataro. And he owed Ron, American Wild Child, money. So as payment, he gave him the costume and the gimmick. So then
It's very wrestling.
Oh, Kevin in this
yeah.
So that's how I got my first outfit, is just wore it. And I think like Super Dragon was Ultrataro. Mr. Excitement who was commenting was Ultrataro before, you know, and Blitzkrieg obviously. It was one of those things, it was almost like a rite of passage. And then unfortunately it stuck with, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately. Fortunately, it stuck with me.
Yeah. No, it took you a lot of places.
That's
Allan, let me ask you, like who's the biggest person that you would say that you've wrestled so far, stature wise?
biggest person,
or been on a show with?
I was on a show. It was like the NWA 65th anniversary tour. And I was on a show I was just doing ring crew. We drove the ring truck up, and I was on a show with like Kevin Nash, and Adam Pearce was on that show.
Cool.
Trying to think who else there. Lance Cade, Trevor Murdoch. All those
I would imagine Colt Cabana probably was there.
No, he wasn't on that part. He wasn't on that one. They split off on like two legs of the tour in Canada. So Colt Cabana was out on the other one, I believe.
Wow.
But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. At that time I was wrestling under a mask as the Pink Panther.
Nice.
My own spin-off of the Blue Panther. That basically the same mask, just with
yeah.
So I feel your pain with wrestling with a mask.
It's not as easy as you would think, right?
It's not.
I was reminded of that today, wearing it for 5 minutes. I mean, Tom was wearing that mask 5 minutes. I'm like, how did I?
That's why I took mine off.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, it's not that easy. I mean, you get used to it when you're doing it often enough, but
I think we did like a fun secret show out of a promotion that I was with last year for 3-2-1 Battle in Seattle. I just didn't want to do whatever gimmick I was doing. So I was like, oh, I'll just put the mask back on. And I as soon as I did it, I was like, oh man, I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yep.
But I think I wrestled a 4-minute match that day and with the mask, and I'm like, yeah, this is fine. That's enough. That's my limit.
Yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I thought too. It's like wrestling with like a bag over your head. It's like you lose a lot of like where you're at and stuff like that. Yeah. But the people that can do it are awesome.
This one, you know, they have the stitching over the eyes, so then your vision even a little bit more distorted.
It's even worse, right? Totally. So that's cool. You know, Kevin actually has some dealings with Kevin Nash on
totally.
On that TV show, Nikki. I don't know if you probably wouldn't have been aware, but there's a show called Nikki that aired on the WB in 2000 to 2002. And the premise was Nikki Cox was a dancer in Vegas and her husband was an aspiring pro wrestler. And we all got in on that because Ron, American Wild Child, got the gig as a stunt coordinator. He supplied the ring and got the gig making all the stunt scenes. And I guess that's because I forgot about Suddenly Susan. Like he somehow got the hook and brought the ring to an episode of Suddenly Susan.
Really?
That's where he met the same crew, because a lot of the same crew worked on Nikki. So that's where he initially networked it out and he got the stunt coordinator gig. And so I was the right size for referee. So I was in scenes of Kevin Nash and the Macho Man. That was like the big two, obviously. And I got to wrestle Kevin Nash in the stunt scene on the second season. It was fun. Easiest match of my life, and I got paid more than I ever did in any match.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say the biggest person that I ever wrestled was, I mean, in my estimation, Minoru Suzuki. I wrestled him in Japan, and it was actually in a battle royale. It was very short. But as far as wrestle, Seth Rollins, Bryan Danielson. Yeah. I didn't wrestle against them, but like Samoa Joe, Cesaro, stuff like that. So, blah 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 blah. Yeah, but I mean, like that's the fun part about this is like, when you actually stick it out and go through wrestling and its channels and its BS and politics and everything, you actually get to do some stuff that's like that you never thought you would have been a part of. I remember like one of my ones was like Sabu is like I didn't wrestle Sabu. I was involved in some stuff with him, but like I remember going in like '96 to go see Sabu wrestle in Vegas, and what was it? Okay, so that was '96, and 5 years later, like he's like sitting in my house, like watching TV.
So weird.
Yeah, that's wrestling right there. Totally.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have a lot of people. Chad M says, Canada, home of Stu Hart Dungeon.
Yes.
Not anywhere near you, I don't think. That's in Calgary, right?
A bit of a drive.
A bit of a drive. Cowboy Jack says it doesn't sound like Super Dragon. I think he's referring to the elbow to my eye. Yeah.
No.
He's bloodied me many times.
I dropped it on my head a bunch of times. Yeah,
that was the Patriot Cup. Ed was there with us. Actually, Cowboy Jack has a let's see. Do you have stuff on YouTube, Allan?
We're losing him a little bit there.
Yeah. Actually, Allan, what you should do is leave the studio and then come back in, and that'll leave it. There we go. Boom.
We'll get back to that question in a second.
Yeah. And actually, the Indie Handshake podcast is actually joining us. Hey, thank you so much. Yeah, the Nikki Cox show was fun. I mean, they came down they came down to the Rev Pro dojo. Like Nikki Cox and the whole cast came down to one of our shows in Anaheim, which was like amazing at the time.
Yeah, the main three people was Nikki, the person who played their husband. His name was Nick Von Esmark, I think was his name, and he never really did anything after that. So I don't know what happened. But my favorite guy is the promoter on the show named Toby Huss, who I mean, he was actually a voice of Todd on Beavis and Butthead.
Yep.
On King of the Hill, he was the voice of Hank Hill's father and the neighbor.
Yep.
Asian neighbor. For people who have grown up in the 90s, he was actually on a very popular Nickelodeon show called The Adventures of Pete and Pete. He was known as Artie, the world's strongest man. And he was actually in the last Halloween movie.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, the one that just came out last year. Yeah. And he was a great guy to hang out with. He was like, that was my favorite part of Nikki is just getting to know that guy. Really funny guy.
Yeah.
Ed said, yep.
Yeah, totally. He was Wiz on Seinfeld.
There you go.
Yeah, and he was also on Reno 911 as well.
Oh, that's right.
I just saw some of his stuff with that as well.
Yeah, he had a bit part in Vegas Vacation, and that's where we first were getting to know who he was. Like, oh, okay. And then later we do research. We're like, what? He was on Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah, he has so many awesome credits to his name. So let's get into some of the wrestling and baseball because this is a rabbit hole. Like I could have gone, but I'm just gonna go with the top ones here. So let's go with this.
Oh geez,
I'm gonna start with this one only because I want to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
This one, and we lost Allan, but I'm sure we'll get him back. This was in July of 1994 amidst the Major League Baseball strike. 94. Like I was like, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but yeah, it was. It's crazy to think that they just tried to do something kind of to spoof the baseball strike. This was Steve Lombardi, but it was Abe Knuckleball Schwartz. And they couldn't have done anything worse than this. Like this shows how little effort and probably how probably right before the show they did this.
And it's funny because usually wrestling tends to be behind the times on things.
Yeah.
But then they did that. I'm like, wow, they actually are pretty much right on when this happened and what was going on in baseball. But still, it's just so
like everything about it was bad. Allan, do you remember this? Abe Knuckleball Schwartz. I was saying I just want to get this one out of the way.
Yeah, I do. It's funny enough when I was talking about doing this new gimmick, guys wanted me to do a knuckleball-esque gimmick, and I was like, no, I can't do this.
No.
It's too bad.
Yeah.
No, see, there's a reason why I'm glad that you said that, because usually the knuckleball actually is to extend someone's career. So in this case, it was like that. It was extending Steve Lombardi's career. So like, but you would be known as like, like Phil Necro or, R.A. Dickey, like, got a lot of Tim Wakefield. They weren't. Now, if you're a wrestler, it's like you're supposed to be dominant. And like this guy is hanging on. It's like, still getting like appearances and stuff like that. It's a totally unique type of pitch that no one has perfected. So basically saying like he hasn't perfected wrestling, though he's going to try like baseball. Okay. So yeah, I mean, like, and then the oh my god, like the effort put into this, it looks like crap, like crappy softball. Like I felt so bad for him. Even like even the cap, they could have invested in it, like a cap, like like the wool cap. They didn't even do that. Like it's total softball but if you look, they actually invested in two nice gloves. So.
Yeah, there you go.
So I wanted to know more about the Great Bambina.
That's my favorite part. Yeah.
We're losing a little bit of your audio, Alan.
Yeah, she is my tag partner. She is out of Oakland, California. She trains out of Stoner U, which is sorry about that, guys.
All right.
Oh, no worries.
Is it better now?
Your audio's fine.
We can hear you.
Around a little.
If you want, you can turn off your video, and then we can just hear you.
I know we got him.
So I think it was my laptop was overheating. Okay. Yeah, no.
Sure. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh.
If it's okay right now, I'll just she primarily wrestles out of Oakland, but she's been coming up and down the West Coast here a little bit, and working with me in Seattle and then in Bellingham, and then we're gonna see where we can go once all this pandemic stuff kind of goes away a little bit. So
I'm guessing she works for is it Hood Slam? If she's from Oakland, I'm guessing Hood Slam, right?
Yeah, no, that's where she's out of, Hood Slam and Stoner U, and so lots of opportunities there. Very entertaining shows.
Yeah, totally. So that's cool. I love the Rockford Peaches jersey there. That's a nice touch.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you know what? Go into your cam mic settings and turn off your audio. I'm sorry, turn off your video, and that might help. Then you can turn it back on at some point. But at least we'll have your.
Yeah, I found it randomly.
Yeah, Chad M says knuckleball looks like the baseball gang from Warriors movie, which I always thought would be like a great gimmick.
Yeah, the Baseball Furies. I mean, how was there never like a guy who was a Baseball Fury? You know, we had Disco Fury. We already talked about him. How could there not be a Baseball Fury? You know?
Yeah, totally. And I always thought that was a great thing. Actually, I remember like one of my friends actually had a Halloween gimmick, which was like from that with the eye blacks and everything with the baseball bat. It was like, it was so amazing. So it's like, I'm surprised that more people haven't taken advantage of that. And this is one that, like, when I was thinking of baseball gimmicks, like off the top of my head, Dasher Hatfield from Chikara. Which I didn't know, Alan. You said you oh, there you go, boom.
Sorry.
Do you know anything about Dasher Hatfield?
I forgot about him because he's from Chikara, and Chikara's not really around anymore, so I'm not sure what he's gonna do now. But he was like a mainstay over there. So he was getting plenty of work, and that was like a promotion where they're doing like unique gimmicks. You know, I'm laughing going, wow, they're kind of doing what we kind of want to do at certain points in Rev Pro. You know what I mean? Just having some fun with gimmicks and just doing our own thing.
Yeah. And when we get Allan back on, there's actually a Boomer Hatfield, which I wasn't even aware of. I believe, the continuing the legacy.
He can't be Dasher Jr. I mean, come on.
I was wondering about that, but like, I guess it makes sense. Kind of whenever they have like mascots and stuff like that. I remember the Atlanta Braves used to have like Chief Nakahoma, and then it was Princess Winalata. I love all that.
I love the puns. Love the puns.
Yeah, totally.
You know, speaking of mascots, that'll be out later, but we were talking about the Diamondbacks have a lucha mascot.
They do, and I was going to make mention of that. As like I said, there's so many here. I haven't even scratched the surface. Yeah. So we were talking about Dasher and Boomer Hatfield here, Allan. Yeah. Do you know more about Boomer? I wasn't even aware of him until you kind of mentioned him.
Yeah, I actually talk to him once in a while. It sounds like since Chikara's kind of gone, it's kind of closed shop, that he's going to be moving around that area a little bit, and his tag partner is a female that does a hockey gimmick.
Yes.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, which is and he's been doing it for a few years now, and I believe he won the mask of his father, Dasher.
Right. So, wow. And I think her name is like McCoy, so it's Hatfield and McCoy, right?
Oh,
isn't that great?
That's fantastic. It's Molly McCoy.
All right.
It's going to be interesting what happens with it. If people are going to be able to pick up the pieces of like all those guys, because obviously there's been really talented wrestlers who've come through Chikara, and it's a matter of, can we pick it up and make something, out of it in the end?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I hope so.
A lot of those guys are so talented, so hopefully they find a home somewhere and are able to bounce around.
Yeah, I wrestled in Tijuana with it was Lince Dorado. I think it was one of the Fire Ants. But they were doing like the ice creams. Down there,
nice.
Yeah. So
that's right. That was for the supposed to be called Viva La Lucha, or what was that?
It wasn't. It was actually for a G4 show they were trying to pitch. But it was the same guys that were doing that. Ruben and Kevin Kleinrock, a guy who did WSX. But here's a guy I actually wrestled in Japan. This is Tiger's
awesome.
Mask. He used to have like so many awesome things. He used to like do the whole wind up, and then like when you're in the corner, he'd do the whole wind up and then chop. He'd also do like he'd stomp you in the corner. He'd run from run to the corner to corner to corner. So like almost like running the bases and then like slide and like drop kick you. Mr. Excitement and myself actually we actually wrestled and played baseball in Osaka, which was actually kind of something maybe I'll talk about later. It was very brief, but it was fun to do. We were so ecstatic that they had a baseball gimmick. And one of the other was actually this. This was actually the rival. So if you knew Tiger Mask, like his rival was Kevin.
Well, Black Tiger.
Black Tigers. So of course, Tiger's Mask, the rival would be Black Tigers. It was actually a guy that he wrestled in PWG. He was actually named Jeremy Lopez. He actually lost his mask to Tiger's Mask. So that it was. It was over before it started, but basically, but it was still cool.
And just to verify for people, so people will know, the Tiger's Mask is after the Hanshin Tigers, which is one of the local teams out of Osaka.
That's right.
In case people didn't know. And that's, that's obviously a take on the whole.
It can get very complicated very quickly, for sure.
Yeah. I would say everybody's going to know the Hanshin Tigers, so I think at least mention it.
Yes, exactly.
The uniform is like their old uniform too. Yeah, like his gear is like the old uniform, which is great.
So, it's such a great touch.
Yeah, it's super cool. And he doesn't even wear this anymore. So he kind of changed his gimmick, kind of updated it, but yeah, I wrestled him a few times. Like in 2004 and 2005, and super good guy, like a fantastic wrestler too. He's really good.
Yeah.
This is and for a lot of people don't know, actually Black Buffalo, who's also an Osaka pro, is based on the Osaka Kinetsu Buffaloes, which are actually what are they? They're actually the Oryx Blue Wave now.
Yeah.
That's where Ichiro came from.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
it. That's it.
Yep.
Nicely done. And so like I actually took this picture. This was in 2004.
God, look at
This
him.
and he's actually offering me a beer. Yeah, and there's Super
Perfect.
Delphin right behind him. I actually
Yep.
took this picture, and it was actually it was the 5-year celebration of Osaka Pro. So they had like this dinner where people would come. Actually, Super Delphin is actually doing an interview with reporters back here. So this is at Delphin Arena, and so like what they had was they had like this really nice dinner, which was awesome because we didn't have to pay for it, and we all dressed up in like really amazing suits and everything, and Mr. Excitement was there as well. But then they had 2 matches. So like there's actually guys who at this formal kind of dinner. So if you were to turn to your right in this picture, there's like tables, they had like sushi, they had like this amazing food. But if you were to like look behind me in this picture, the ring was right there and they had 2 matches. So it was I said, wrestling is sometimes like a dream. The stuff that you can do in this like is nuts. And during this tour as well, it's not the poster behind here, but I'm sure it's there somewhere. We wrestled on a ship in Osaka Bay. So that's as I said, like don't dream too little, especially when it comes to wrestling. Like you can't imagine like who you'll be in the ring with or doing it somewhere. So definitely dream big.
Yeah.
Actually, the Oryx Blue Wave or the Buffaloes. They won 4 Pacific League championships, but lost all 4 Japan series that they were in. So next week on the Hoppy Hour, we're going to talk about some more about Japanese baseball.
Yeah.
So this goes with your shirt, the Osaka Pro shirt that you have there, Kevin.
It's hard to really see, but I got this from Disco Machine, I believe.
There you go. There you go. I come bearing gifts whenever I travel internationally, which isn't anymore.
Like, hey, this is wrestling and baseball because somewhere on here is Black Buffalo and and Tigers basketball on there somewhere.
Yep. So here's one that
somewhere.
Here's one that you may not know of.
All right,
Naruki Doi.
He
started with T2P Toryumon 2000 as a baseball gimmick. And his name was Second Doi. It was based on the Yomiuri Giants, and so like they love baseball. Japanese love baseball. They love. Yeah. So this doesn't surprise me at all. And I think he used to do like he would throw the guy out of the ring and he would slide and like do like a sliding drop kick, and then he'd get up and he dust himself off, which is like his big gimmick. Beautiful. I was trying to get a little footage of it.
I'm gonna steal that for sure.
Yeah. And hey, you wrestled that guy.
I did not wrestle him.
You did? Oh, I thought you wrestled Doi Yoshino at IDX. Oh, darn.
No, it wasn't him. It was Genki Horiguchi and Masato Yoshino.
Oh, I thought it was Doi Yoshino.
It was not Doi. Because he was in Muscle Outlaws. He wrestled in PWG.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I knew they were a regular team for a while.
Yeah. One of my I remember when he was wrestling in PWG. This was at the end of PWG. For me, PWG went on and did big things. But when at the end of my run, I actually went up to him and I said like, "Oh my god, like I love like your new logo, the Muscle Outlaws like logo and everything." And he was so appreciative of like that I love like all their graphic design, because that graphic design is what got me through my wrestling career. So I did all the graphic design for stuff. So he was like, he loved that I loved like all the stuff that they had for Muscle Outlaws, which was super cool.
I think I saw the Muscle Outlaws in 2007 at DDT4.
Oh wow!
Wow.
I knew you came down to Gorilla before. Right on.
My first PWG show was in 2006 for Battle of Los Angeles, which you, Michael, wrestled Austin Aries.
Ah!
Holy cow! Are you serious?
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
You were at that.
Yeah, we was seven of us packed into a van and drove 20 hours to that show. We didn't go to the Friday show, but we went to Saturday, Sunday.
Right on.
Holy cow. One second, real quick.
You made him pop on that one. I'm like, whoa, you just stopped the show. I'm like,
so did you get one of these?
Oh, here we go. What?
So I'm actually gonna cue in myself.
Look at that.
I believe I had one of those at one point for sure. I think I came home with 7 T-shirts from that weekend.
I can imagine. That's when they started doing all those T-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah, and all the guys sitting around the apron and selling shirts.
That's right. That's when they started doing that.
Yeah, Hero and Claudio and I'm trying to think of who else. We got a few pictures from there too. So it was a long trip, but it was worth it.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And yeah, that was actually I was supposed to, and in fact I just put it on my Disco Machine Instagram, kind of reminiscing about, because I found this shirt. I'm like, oh yeah, I might as well put it up there. It was actually pretty well received. Like people loved it. And there's so many, like the names on here are nuts. Like Genki Horiguchi, Roderick Strong, Davey Richards, Chris Sabin, Kevin Steen, TJ Perkins, Scorpio Sky, Super Dragon, Neko Butcher, me, Delirious, Jack Evans, Frankie Kazarian, Dragon Kid, Matt Seidel, Austin Aries, M-Dog 20, El Generico, Colt Cabana, American Dragon, Claudio Castagnoli, Quicksilver, Chris Hero, and SEMA.
Yeah.
How did you get in there? How did you get in there, Disco Machine?
I'll tell you how. I actually was a reserve because I believe American Dragon got hurt.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, am I right on that, Allan? Do you remember that at all?
I thought it was
somebody got hurt.
TJP that bailed out or something like that.
Or
he showed up at Showtime or something, if I remember. I read a story about it.
Oh wow. Oh, that's you might be right on that.
Yeah.
He showed up at Showtime and then someone just said, no, you're not in, and that was it. If I remember the story, but I read the story so long ago.
Is that the weekend of the famous Dragon Butcher match where Necro Butcher knocked Dragon out in 5 seconds and they wrestled 25 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Me and Dan watched that match recently, and just being there live, it was the most insane match you could be.
Up? I mean, I remember being great, and then later Dragon tells me, "Hey, he knocked me out in 30 seconds, and we worked 25 minutes." I'm like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It was an insane match for sure.
So would you like a little backstage from that show to wrap it all up?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
So one of the great stories that I tell about that night is that Super Dragon was knocked out during that whole thing, and he still did a match because if you know Super Dragon like Kevin and I know Super Dragon, his life is like wrestling. So he's able to do, as Gorilla Monsoon says, basically running on instincts, and that's what Super Dragon was doing. And so Super Dragon, it's 2006, and so it's, I would say Super Dragon had a pretty big name. Did you know of Super Dragon? The legend of him at the time. Okay, so he was probably at the infancy of that. I had wrestled him in XPW in 2001. So he was in All Japan in 2002, and so he started building.
You know what though? You mentioned all that because people probably don't even know he was in All Japan. This is really the Super Dragon peak is around 2005, 2006.
Yeah. So the stuff you see on Botchamania where it's Super Dragon, that was 2003. That was our first year in PWG.
Yeah.
So Super Dragon is knocked out, and he got knocked out a lot in wrestling. Unfortunately,
don't get me started on that, please.
Yeah. So I mean, too many times. I mean, as I say, it's not ballet, and it's I say too. I've probably been knocked out more times than I care to admit, and it's just part of the game. and one of the things that I remember about that night was that Super Dragon was was backstage, and he was in his gear, and he was clutching the money box.
Yep. Oh yeah.
He's just like this, like a baby, just clutching the money box. And he's just sitting there. No one can knock, knock, knock. Hello, Super Dragon. How you doing? We're all concerned. It's like, oh shit. And so so we just sat there, and he just sat there. And so one of the things I tried to let's just have fun with this. I would go to him. I go, hey. And his girlfriend was right there. I said, hey, have you met my girlfriend yet? And he's just looking at me with this kind of glazed over look. And I said, I go, hey, this is my girlfriend. I'm super, super happy about it. And I go, and he goes, he's just looking at me like this. And I go, no, dude, you're gay. I know you know this. It's you're gay. You're and he goes, he's just still looking at me with this glazed over look. I go, no, you've been gay for like 20 years, since, whatever. So the only thing that snapped him out of this whole thing. So he sees Necro Butcher, obviously the guy that he's had a match with, right?
Yeah.
So he's he looks up at him and he goes, I know you. And then we're just okay. So he's kind of snapping out of it a little bit. He looks up at it and he goes, I like you. Because he loved Necro Butcher, because he would always talk about Necro, how he was so articulate and smart, and he was super nice. And actually Necro Butcher, he did the grounds crew for the Dayton Dragons.
Really? Did we ever actually really verify that was him?
I believe so. I believe that he
found
did.
Someone with his same name, and I'm like, is that really him? I hope it is. But
I believe that he did, and he started doing all that stuff. And unfortunately, he's not in the best health right now. Unfortunately, I was sorry, very sorry to see that. But super sweet guy. We had him in PWG. I think it was in 2004 or 5. I think it was 5, because it was at the Sweatbox. And we had him as a kind of a surprise guest, and I had to have him come in. So I met him. He's a super sweet guy. I love Dylan. And then when he was in The Wrestler, I was super happy to see him in The Wrestler too. I'm like, I know that guy, the guy that got his stapled in his head, the money.
Remember, Necro Butcher got his name dropped on the Oscars, the actual Oscars show.
How so?
There was a bit with who are the guys at Pineapple Express? Is it Seth Rogen and Franco?
Oh, James Franco.
James Franco.
Yeah. So they're sitting there. It's a piece about Best Picture, and they're sitting there in their Pineapple Express characters watching movies, and all of a sudden they're watching a clip of The Wrestler, and it's that match, and they're like, Necro Butcher, and they're going crazy for Necro Butcher, and I'm just like, Necro Butcher just got name dropped on the Oscars. What am I awesome. It was amazing. It's was being shown on the Oscars. I'm like, what is happening here?
It was funny because
in Oscars history, let me tell you,
when we were at Bola, and you could kind of, the entranceway, you could kind of see it was a very thin curtain for the entranceway.
Yeah.
And there was a TV that was just in the entranceway, because it's basically a bar. Yeah. And you could see Necro Butcher sitting there with his glasses on. Yes. He had a newspaper, a coffee, and he was watching the news. And we're just like, what the heck? And then 20 minutes later, he came out and did that match where he got backdropped on chairs that had their backs to each other. And it's just it's how does this man come from this man? And it just doesn't make any sense.
Do you know why? Because he's a professional.
Yes, there you go. There you go. I don't know if this night or not, but one time he was in Reseda, he was wearing a shirt that was, I think it said Dennis Kucinich for president. And Dennis Kucinich was like a very, very I guess kind of left wing leaning Democrat who was running for president. And I'm like, I gotta talk to you about this. And so I'm talking politics for about 10, 15 minutes. And I'm just like, I can't believe I'm talking politics with Necro Butcher. This is just amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, that's again.
And I'm more of a bleeding heart liberal in some way. So I was like, oh, I gotta talk to him about this because then it's bonding over that,
It's
Meanwhile,
so crazy.
yeah, you might have knocked my cousin out, but hey, that happens. My cousin knocked me loopy plenty of times. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's awesome that you were at that match.
I
That made my day.
Cracks me up.
Yeah, we
totally.
went back and watched through the whole show again because like we weren't at night 1 and then we were at night 2 and 3 and we're trying to see like if it all holds up, and yeah, a lot of the matches do hold up. So
Awesome.
That's very good to know.
Go back and watch it at some point. It's probably one of the better shows I've seen live.
Yeah, I was supposed to wrestle Colt Cabana, I think, in the very first match of that tournament, and it got pushed back, and then I wrestled Austin Aries. So, like, yeah, either match I would have definitely,
For sure.
I couldn't tell you. I love Colt. Actually, my last match was with, it was me and Kikutaro versus Colt Cabana and Top Gun Tall War with Taro as referee. So like
that was a fun match.
That was my coup de grace. So I couldn't gone out any better.
So that was your last PWG match, because that was Colt's last PWG match before he went to WWE that time.
That's right. It was a big farewell. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
no, you're going here. Oh man.
So let's get through this. The MVP, Dale Torborg. He's the son of Major League Baseball manager Jeff Torborg. I didn't know this. He is currently the conditioning coordinator for the Chicago White Sox.
Wow. There you go.
Go figure. Now here's another one.
There, of course.
Obviously, actually, Angelo Poffo drove Randy all the way to St. Louis for an open tryout in which roughly 300 hopefuls tried to get the Cardinals' attention. He was the only one that got the attention, and he got a $500 contract. So he wasn't drafted. But he was like a really great prep player. Now, if you look at this is pretty amazing. Actually, I'm gonna see so you can actually see this.
Oh my goodness!
It's actually from Chicago Today. Now, if you look closely, Downers Grove North High School, who was from Downers Grove, Illinois, Leaping Lanny Poffo. So of course, there you go. So so he was a great prep player in baseball. Obviously didn't he actually played 289 games in 4 minor league seasons. His last season was actually his worst. But he did good. 254 average, 16 homers, 66 RBIs. But yeah, there was more obviously he went on to hire
all right for himself.
Yeah. He did good for himself.
Yeah,
I have a good painting of Randy Savage in this room here.
Oh, right on.
Very good.
Right on. So here's another guy who he played baseball at West Texas State. The McEndry Dacero, baby.
There you go.
So 3-time NWA heavyweight champion. Obviously, multi-time like world TV champion, world tag team champion. Even 6-man champion. I don't even know who he was a 6-man champions with.
I believe it was the Road Warriors.
Oh, that would make sense. Obviously, 2 sons in wrestling, Dustin and Cody. Yeah. But I was thinking there's 2 pictures. I don't have the other picture. The one was him golfing in Florida, which is amazing.
That's
but
right.
this one is more baseball related. Jerry Lawler on the left, B. Brian Blair on the right there. Oh my God. Like Dusty, like this is the kind of wrestling that I love.
Yeah.
This is bring back this wrestling, please. This is what I loved about wrestling.
And it says Championship Wrestling on their shirt too. I can't. The Tampa
Bay Buccaneookers. They played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, so it was a softball between the 2 teams then?
Probably a charity.
Charity game. Yeah. Look at that. They got the ringer Lawler because Lawler was definitely a softball guy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I'm not gonna bring up Sid in this discussion because there's too much great baseball to talk about. But obviously Sid plays softball, which is not baseball, by the way. but here is actually when we talk about baseball, Dusty Rhodes, there was actually a Dusty Rhodes in baseball. He was an outfielder and pinch hitter whose otherwise unremarkable 7-year Major League Baseball career was dramatically highlighted by his starring role for the champion New York Giants during the 1954 season and that year's World Series. So like he had some like really key hits that basically defined his career.
And that was a huge upset at the time in baseball, because I remember that year they beat the Cleveland Indians, who won 111 games that season. And I remember that because that was like the record. I think, what was it, that Mariners team that defeated then choked? I'm sorry to bring that up, Allan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm assuming the Mariners are your major league team, right? Even though you're wearing, you got Cardinals colors, so I didn't know for sure. You know?
No, I got Mariners tattoos though.
All right.
Oh, do you really? Wait a minute. Let's see. What did you go with?
Well, I have.
Let me cue in on this one.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I have a Mariners logo. The
Okay.
So the 2000s, right? Or
Yeah.
was it 90s? Was that 90s?
Well, they still have that as part of their logo now, but
Yeah.
and then I have Ken Griffey. If I can get
Nice.
there we go.
Oh, right on.
Nice.
So so I have 2 Mariners tattoos, and then I have a couple other baseball tattoos as well. So
Oh, look at you. That's awesome. Committed to the gimmick. I love it.
yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
So another guy, obviously the hit king, Pete Rose. I didn't realize that he was actually in a lot more than I remembered. So he was in WrestleMania. What is it? Let's see. 14. He was also in WrestleMania 15, WrestleMania 2000.
Oh my gosh, 3 times.
I know. I was pretty surprised about that. And he was actually his run-in with Kane, where he was like, got the pile driver.
He got tombstone because they did a whole bit where they were in Boston, so he did like Boston jokes, like said he left tickets for Bill Buckner, but he like dropped it. He dropped it, or it rolled between his legs or something like that. He was just doing these jokes, and of course, the big red machine, Kane.
That's it. The big red machine. That's
why they did that spot.
Two together.
He came out as the chicken one time. He was disguised as the chicken to get revenge on Kane.
Yeah, that's right. He came out as a gobbledygooker as well. Yeah, and then so there you go. Pete strikes out again. I love that one. But then I actually he had something with Rikishi. I think that might have been during like WrestleMania 2000.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't even remember that. Wow.
I don't even remember that either. But yeah, so like so there's a baseball connection. Yeah, the big red machine. Oh god, it's obvious. Now this is another instance. I wish that they would have this type of big red machine makes all the sense in the world to do this stuff like that.
And then they had to do the gimmick where Pete Rose can't get in the Baseball Hall of Fame. We got to put Pete Rose in the WWE Hall of Fame. Like, of course they got to do that.
Yeah, he actually got the Hall of Fame bid as a jobber.
Yes. I mean,
he jobbed out every single time.
He's in the celebrity wing because they do that gimmick. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
It's all a work, brother.
Yeah. Oh man. So you turn that big in those bumps. Like that one can't be pleasant. You know what I mean? If you're not used to taking those, if you're not used to it,
yeah. He's pretty high.
You are.
He's pretty high there too.
Yeah, he is.
So good stuff. So let's talk about some baseball and beers as well, and wrestling as well.
All right.
So I have one of these in my actually I didn't get to give it to you, Kevin.
Oh, it's all right. I've had it before.
So have you had this one, Allan? The Steve Austin's Broken Skull IPA.
I haven't found it. I guess I really haven't looked too hard for it either, but no, I haven't seen it around, but if I do ever see it, I'm sure I'll buy it. So you might have to give me your address. Actually,
kayfabe.
We'll get kayfabe on this, please. If you're with FedEx or USPS, don't listen to this, please.
That's gotten some distribution though. This because it's Steve Austin. I mean, that El Segundo beer has got to go to some places outside of California.
Yeah,
maybe
for sure.
Someday. Who knows? Wait, what?
El Segundo is one of my favorite breweries
It's really
Definitely one of those ones that I love about West Coast beer. That everything that they have is amazing. I have a double IPA that's sitting in my refrigerator over here. That's like, oh, I probably will have that as my beer for the broadcast.
Hey,
Definitely.
hey! You already got your beer for Tuesday. I bought you beer for Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. But I mean, at some point, I have to fit it in. But like, it's so good. It's so worth telling everybody about. This is one that actually Kevin and I, one of my favorite, Hazer Ramon, the hazy India Pale Ale from Noble Ale Works. Noble is where we go before every Angels game that Kevin and I attend. We actually park in their parking lot because you're able to. It's right, just literally probably walking distance from Angels Stadium, but we go there, we spend a whole bunch of money, and then we walk over to the Angels game.
Well, if you get there early, you can get beer for $6-7, and it's like at least twice as much inside the ballpark. Yeah. And also, if you're a hockey fan, you can walk to where the Ducks play as well from there.
Mm-hmm. I went there last year to buy a hat. Actually, right
on. Okay.
I went to the baseball stadium and the arena to buy hats, and I managed to get the Ducks Angels collaboration hat, which is very good.
Yeah,
awesome. Here's another one that we had, the Dudley Death Hop, a brewed India Pale Lager.
I love that logo.
I didn't realize this was a collaboration. I'm not very familiar with Magnanimous Brewing.
Yeah, I'm not either.
Yeah, but we had this. It was super great. The one criticism that I'll have is in this logo, that is not Devon over there, by the way. Yeah. It's actually they kind of wimped out, but the other one is definitely Bubba Ray. Yeah, here's another one. We actually tried to get this for this show. This is Los Guerreros, a Mexican style lager from Alosta Brewing. Alosta is probably about a half hour from here east. We tried to get this one. Obviously it's a wrestling beer, but I think they only had like one.
Yeah, and then I checked the other day and they were out. And if you see Chavo's names on there, Chavo Guerrero Jr. actually endorsed this beer.
Oh, love it.
So that's why I'm like, I gotta get this eventually. But unfortunately for us, I couldn't get to this. So that's why we went to check out the new brewery, that Luchador one. And this is a good lager. How are you enjoying this, Michael?
Oh, I'm loving this one. Thank you. So here's some other ones. We actually can't get this here in the United States. This is Top Rope Brewing. This is the Papa Mango Pale Ale. How awesome is this?
Where is that?
Oh, I think it's in like Manchester, England, potentially.
Oh my goodness!
So like we have now. If you know, is it? Wait a minute. If it's Manchester, oh my God! Like I might have to reach out to Pac. Like he's from Manchester. Oh no, he's from Newcastle. He's from Newcastle. I have to figure out somebody from there. We have to. Okay,
I'm writing it down.
Get your pen ready because
Top Rope Brewing. Come on,
Top Rope Brewing.
Wrestling beers. I love it.
That's a good one.
That's great.
Okay, so it doesn't stop here. Top Rope Brewing rules, by the way. It's because they have the Rowdy Roddy Porter.
Oh, that's so good.
Bravo.
It does not stop there.
Oh, no way.
Oh, no.
The Rest Mania 5. And this was for their 5th anniversary. Okay.
It just gets better.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
This is going to be like a total high spot fest. Ready? Are you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Cold Stone Cream Austin.
Well, you know that Mike Tyson called him Cold Stone.
Oh, damn.
Yes, exactly. American Dream Pale Ale, baby.
Oh, the Dream's going to be mad about those polka dots, baby. I don't like those polka dots.
Exactly. And Top Rope comes again. Cherry the King Lawler. A collaboration with Black Storm Brewery.
I think we're going to Manchester when everything opens up, aren't we?
Holy cow.
No kidding.
Oh my God.
So good. And this is one brewery. There's another one that I'm going to mention here in a minute. That's just as good. But I wanted to mention this one, Kevin. You actually had wanted to talk about this one.
So this is actually for Larry the Axe Hennig, Kurt Hennig's father. So this brewery, Wicked Wart, I think it's in a suburb of Minneapolis. I remember reading about this right after Larry Hennig passed away, because he actually passed away about, I think, in December of 2018. So right after this beer was made, they decided to make a beer in honor of him, and this is it. Axe is back. And they actually had him there and did a whole thing of honoring him by introducing this beer. I'm like, oh, that's a really nice touch.
Yeah, totally. And this is the only picture I could find of it. And it's really interesting. Look at the lip of this can. It's very interesting. I've never even seen.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's aggressive.
Is it you have to screw it off? Maybe
I have no idea. It's so interesting.
That's very aggressive.
It is. And there must be some method to the madness of this.
Yeah,
for sure.
No kidding.
So speaking of the Hennigs, Mr. Perfect double dry hopped hazy IPA from Local Brewing.
I gotta try that one.
Now Kevin hates this one. There's an LA brewery called Indie Brewing. Do you hate the name of Local Brewing?
I don't hate as much as I do indie. Yeah, maybe it's just because I was in indie wrestling too long. I'm just like, oh, come on, guys.
Come on.
I was like, it's such a generic name. That's all.
Yeah. Have you had this one, or do you know of this, Allan?
I believe my buddy in NorCal has one in his fridge saved for me eventually. But I might have to get him to send it north, because I don't know when the border is going to open up to go south.
Yes. Yeah. And Canada is much more stringent on this. They actually didn't have baseball. They told the Toronto Blue Jays, go play in Buffalo.
Yeah, they played in Buffalo. They've already shipped the Raptors to Tampa Bay for next season.
Wow. What about the Maple Leafs? Do we know what's happening with any of those Canadian hockey teams?
All the Canadian hockey teams are going to be playing in Canada, and it's going to be the Canada division for this year.
Right. Okay, well, that's good. That's actually that's good. It's
smart. Yeah,
of course.
So here
from up north, so I'm going to have to see if I can find that one. Oh my God, this one I didn't know about. Wow.
Ric Flair's Strawberry Ice Goes is a sour beer. What? Like this is bonkers. Like
what's happening here?
I tried to get one of those, and I contacted a guy, and I was like, I'll pay you whatever it takes to get it up here, and he just wouldn't send it. So,
man.
One I forgot about this. Cassandro had a beer.
Oh, that's right.
I did not put that in there.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, because Cassandro the Exotico luchador, who got some fame recently because there's a documentary about him, and they're actually making an actual real dramatic film about him.
A real movie about him.
Yeah, a real movie about him. There was actually a brewery in El Paso that made, I think it was a sour in honor of him. I think it was a sour, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm going to drive to El Paso to get this.
Yeah.
But then I saw it says you only get like 2 4-packs. I'm like, I'm not trying to El Paso for that. It's only like a 20-hour drive.
You big wimp. Do it for the blog.
Exactly.
Get in there. Do it.
Hey, come on. I did a drive for you today. All right. You're welcome.
Be a hero. So this was another one. I actually looked this up on Untapped, and it came right up. Bam Bigelow.
So cool. Oh, that's great.
Now I have it down as a farmhouse ale. That's what it's listed as, but it says IPA. Huh. That is interesting. From Icarus Brewing.
The one I saw that was a Bam Bigelow beer was, it had a different can. So maybe.
Wow.
Maybe so there could be 2.
This is the great interesting part about this, that there always is like those, like, is that the one? Oh, there's another one. Like it's like, oh.
Yeah. I believe the can I remember was him doing a headbutt.
Oh my goodness.
No kidding.
Right on.
Yeah. And I tried to get that one as well. No luck. Nobody wants to send me beer.
Now, I hope nobody's listening to this or shipping or customs. We should definitely kind of plan like a beer trade. I want to start this, and I'm putting that out there, but hopefully no one is listening or watching.
We want people to be listening and watching, just not to this portion. Can't you
Yeah,
talk about
exactly,
something there,
exactly.
sir?
We might edit this in post, but yeah. So I definitely would
Like
love
how-
to do that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out for sure.
Yes. Here's a Brutish, the Barber Beefsteak, a Brute IPA from Beer Leotech. Now look at look. I mean, come on. This is
It has the colors. Oh my gosh, it has the colors. of
the
his
colors,
outfit.
the definitely the leopard or not leopard print. It was just
Zebra.
the zebra print. Oh my god, so good, so good.
It's a good can. That's a good can.
Very
So
good. That's a winner.
Yeah, and Indie Handshake Wrestling. Yeah, the pun game.
Oh my
It's
God.
all about the puns.
Yeah.
All about
Absolutely. You have to.
yeah. True out. Yes, we. No, wait a minute. This is an indictment on our.
Yeah.
We're enlightening you. We're not alcoholics. We're
Hashtag do the
enthusiasts.
research, Ed.
Do the
We're
research.
educating.
All right.
Hashtag do the research. Actually, Cowboy Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Appreciate it.
Do the research. Exactly. Kevin, you have bullshit credentials, by the way.
Hey, whoa. Man, you got more S-bombs than
That's a
I
deep
have.
cut.
You got
That's
two
a
and I
deep
got
cut.
one. Come on.
So here's another awesome one. Milk Foley from Turning Point Brewing. Now this one is actually in England as well, I believe.
Oh.
So strawberry and cream pale ale. So good. So good.
I'm kind of sad that it's not a milk stout though.
Yeah.
So I believe they have one. So I when I was looking this up, they actually have one that I'll show you later that actually is it will wrap this all up.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. Here's another one. Mocha Man Randy Savage, an Imperial Stout from Brew York. Look at
How is
that.
England. Wait, are they in the UK? Are they in England as well?
Yes.
How does England have the wrestling themed breweries? Gosh, they're like killing it.
Something needs to be fixed here.
Yeah. Let's get some investors. Come on, Michael
Yeah,
Mondragon.
let's go.
Yes. Yeah. How is Milk Foley not a milk stout?
See?
100%.
Exactly.
100%.
Thank you, Paul.
Yes. Thank you, Ed. Beer enthusiast. When we're stumbling around, it's about our enthusiasm.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So here's another Triple H, New England Pale Ale from Brew York. DiBiase IPA from Barrier Brewing and the other half brewing.
Wow,
I just had a Barrier Brewing. Yeah.
I actually had something of theirs recently. The local tap room I went to had a couple of cans from Barrier. Unfortunately, not the DiBiase IPA.
Not that, but you would have been right on top of that one.
Yeah,
for sure.
I was like, what? Because the other half is another brewery out of New York City. And Barrier's like in the suburbs, I guess. Oh my gosh.
Now,
my gosh.
Even though it's Giant Haystacks Imperial Stout from Track Brewing, it's a collaboration with Kings. I think Kings and what was it? I can't see the thing, but it's actually a collaboration beer. But I actually was a little disappointed with this one because I'm like, there was an opportunity to have like Giant Haystacks on this.
Yeah. Just do like a little cartoon drawing of him. Yeah. In his overall, all that.
Yeah. So it's too modern for me, but I understand they're trying to sell it.
Yeah.
So here's the beer, a Disco King American Pale Ale from Turning Point Brewing. There's a lot of disco beers out there. I've actually had a couple of them, but definitely this was actually with the Milk Foley. They actually had both of these on tap, and they had this like disco ball on there. So
you had to put yourself over. It's like when you mention the Cardinals once a week on your regular show. You know what I mean?
I don't do it on purpose.
You
say that I do it on purpose. I don't do it on purpose.
Yeah, sure you don't. It's just it's just your subconscious. I get it.
I talked more about the Angels last broadcast than anything. You guys spend a whole bunch of money on a couple.
Yeah, because it was about
the Cardinals. By the way,
yes, because it's on the Cardinal that was your favorite Cardinal. I get it. All right.
Don't get me started, kid.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of really awesome for the Hispanic cultures.
Copa de la
Copa-
Región
Yes.
That's the one.
by MILB.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm actually wearing this hat today. If you see it.
Hudson Valley. Yeah.
No, actually is that the Sacramento one? Oh no,
No,
that's
that's
Hudson-
Hudson Valley.
Hudson
Oh,
Valley
Hudson Valley.
Renegade.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Actually
So
got
Sacramento
a
one's
few-
just mask. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got
Sacramento just did the mask. Yeah.
God,
Well-
that was such a good hat. Oh my goodness.
So this is from the Reading Fighting Phils.
Wow.
Isn't that
What was
cool?
What was their name for that?
It is the Peladores de Reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Let's see.
That's a good mask.
I-
They should
I
have had
see-
Dasher Hatfield and Boomer Hatfield there at that game in Reading. I mean, that's like right in Chikara's like area. That's right where
They-
Chikara was running.
Yeah. They did a few shows at the I believe the Fightin' Phils Stadium.
Right on. That's very cool.
It looks very Osaka-esque. Like
Yeah,
that
it
Osaka
does.
tower.
Yeah.
Yep. Actually, Ed says they should have a 40 for the giant haystack.
Yes.
100%.
There you go.
100%.
Absolutely.
100%. So here's another one. This is the Down East Wood Ducks.
Avocados.
The
Wow.
Avocado Luchadores, the Down East.
That's oh my goodness. That I love that. That's a great hat. Wow.
Good colors too.
That looks real. Yeah. that's
Super cool. Super cool. And then here is Sacramento, the River
you go.
Cat.
Yep.
This is
Dorado?
now this is a missed opportunity because I think this is the Dorados de Sacramento. So
Mhm.
it's like the Goldens.
Yeah.
So wouldn't the mask be golden?
It's
they
not
made
golden enough. Yeah, I know. I don't know what to tell you. In our state capital, that they couldn't get the gold. They couldn't get California's gold.
There
The
you go.
original
Right.
hat, the first hat they did with that was all black with just the mask logo.
Oh, okay.
I had that one at some point. I think I still do. I'm not sure what hats I have anymore.
Yep. Yep.
And I was amazed by your hat collection because I'm not really a hat person, and that's how we met when I was like wearing stuff. And all of a sudden, you're like, "Oh yeah, I got like over 100 hats." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, wow, that's impressive."
I had at one point, I think I had 600 plus hats, and I think I've got it down to about 250 to 300.
Wow.
Wow. What did you do with the other ones?
I sold them off. Like at that point, I was just buying hats for buying hats, and so now I buy hats when I go on trips and locations and stuff. So I use them as the mementos from my trips.
Right on.
Is there a market for selling those hats?
Oh yeah, there is.
Really?
Oh yeah, especially in California, there's a company called Hat Club,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
I get all my hats.
yeah.
Yeah. They do a lot of crazy different colorways and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And the big thing of this year was different color underbrim.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I don't really understand it that much, but like pink was a big one and icy blue was a big one.
Yep.
But hey, if people want them, I bought my first hat that was just for no reason the other day from a company in New York, and it was just because it was a Neapolitan colorway.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason I bought it. It's an Arizona Diamondbacks hat, but it's in pink and light brown. So
Yeah.
That sounds cool though.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting with that logo.
Because
All
they,
right.
they have like the yellow ones too, the taxi cab ones. I think was and
Yeah.
so
watermelon,
watermelon, yeah, totally.
yeah.
Those are nice.
cotton candy, I think is one of them too. That was a big deal. It was like powder blue and pink, but it's in hats are like shoes, so people want them, and everybody wants to get them, and they get very mad when they're sold out.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's great to know because I haven't worn I think the next show that we have is the first time I'm actually going to have a Blogcast hat that I've actually have a new hat, or I'm sorry, a
right on.
recycled hat.
Oh, we still have.
Because
Yeah,
I've had
I don't
so
have
many
many
hats.
I got a couple new shirts in, so I'll probably wear my Everett Conquistadors shirt on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah.
good
I'll
to know.
get my Aqua Sox shirt. My Aqua Sox. I got my Christmas Aqua Sox sweater, so I'll wear that next week for sure for Christmas.
Yeah.
week.
That's
Excited
great to
about
know
that.
that there's a market for that. So I might have to. Did you sell them for like what did you sell them for? What was the lowest price you sold them for?
I've sold various ones between like 15, and I have a couple of the old wool style hats
Oh,
that I sold one for
100 US.
Wow.
So to me, that's like 150 in Canada.
Yeah.
With the exchange, but it varies. It just depends if it catches someone's eye. Just got to catch them on the right day, and they'll pay whatever.
I'm actually gonna extend my streak as I think about it. I haven't worn one hat, maybe a couple hats. I'm actually gonna wear the Edmonton Trappers.
Yeah.
I actually have one.
Right.
It's from Ebbets Field Flannels.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, I love you have that. I love
Yeah.
it.
They're in Seattle.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. I got to go. I got to go check out the store when I went to Seattle last year.
Yep.
It's really hard to keep your wallet in your pocket when you're at that store.
I pulled it off somehow.
So,
Yeah.
so a funny story about that. When I went to Seattle, I went to we were there. My real day job is actually in Portland, but we went up to Seattle. My girlfriend has some business up there, so we stayed literally across the street from Safeco Field.
At Silver Cloud.
Silver Cloud, yes, nicely done, Allan. We're bonding right here. This is amazing. Silver Cloud. Actually, there was people protesting the Silver Cloud. We actually were woke up on Sunday because of their I don't know. Anyway, we were woken up by protesters outside. The Silver Cloud was actually being protested. It was funny because we could open up our window and see Safeco Field right from there. It was beautiful. And then right behind is the where the Seattle Sounders and Seahawks play.
Yeah.
So we went to a Seattle Sounders game.
Yep.
And it was fantastic. So it's all walking distance. And oh my God, such a great area. I love it.
Oh yeah.
That alley is where I buy a lot of my hats because they got a couple stores in there, and they're always discounted stores. So I love that. But yeah, it's that alley between the stadiums is the best.
So okay, so Safeco Field is on one corner.
Yeah.
The Silver Cloud, right?
Yep.
Is on the other corner. The other corner is a Sierra. There you go.
Got to be the closest hat to me, and I'm like, perfect. This is what I needed.
1969. Then they became the Brewers.
Yep.
1970. So on the other corner, is it Sierra Nevada?
Yeah.
What's the brewery restaurant right there?
Yeah, that's at Pyramid Brewing.
Pyramid, not Sierra Nevada.
Right on.
Pyramid Brewing.
It just closed.
Oh, wow.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, we just had a brewery close here called Eagle Rock. I was like,
Well, it was one of their buildings. I don't think it was the entire brewery. The main brewery location is still open.
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah, but you're right.
That's sad to hear. Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, it's a beautiful area. So we walked around that area, going just north. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking around. I'm like, oh my God. Like I saw the Ebbets Field Flannels logo, like EFF. And I'm like, like, how did this happen? Like what? And we walked in. I'm like, I walked out of that $300 later.
Oh no.
and you bought one jersey, right? You probably bought one jersey.
Yeah. I wish. I actually, I was economical and got some shirts and stuff like that, and some presents for people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's right there, just north of Safeco Field. Wonderful. Oh my God.
See, I at least knew it was there because we literally walked from Pike Place right to there.
The Pike is right there.
We started there, just walked down and like, here it is. I'm like, okay, contain myself. And I actually did. Because I'm still like, I'm on vacation. I literally had like one little suitcase and a backpack. I'm like, I can only get so much. You know what I mean?
Yes. Pike Brewing is right there.
I only had the backpack. I was packing super light on that trip because I was only on a trip for like 4 or 5 days.
Pike Brewing was right there. Old Stove Brewing is right there.
I didn't do any breweries.
There's the gum wall is right there.
Yeah, I did the gum. Yeah, I went to the gum wall, of course.
Yeah, it's right there. So like,
I don't think the gum wall is acceptable anymore, based on the current times we're in.
Yeah, at least I did last year.
I think it's actually, I still think, and this is going to be controversial, the gum wall is actually 50-50. There's people that will accept the gum wall. There's people that won't accept the gum wall. How about that?
It's still tourist. It's still tourist trap.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, it's a tourist trap.
yeah,
You know what? My first time there, it's gonna be my tourist trap. It's all right.
Yeah. It's fun to look at for sure. You don't want to touch it.
Yes.
No. Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, now especially. I mean, come on. Now knowing it within 6 feet of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Definitely, my girlfriend, she's immune compromised, so there's she's never gonna go near it. So I'm like, I'm gonna go. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
forget it. Forget it.
Oh,
So here's some
look at
awesome.
this.
Now this is my 2 slides from our Adam Pierce show, which was like episode 5 of the Beer Baseball blogcast. So, like WWE has a big presence for baseball, and there's Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, Johnny Gargano.
Oh, wow. That's right.
Yeah, Adam Copeland, Edge to you.
Yeah, look at that. Love that short hair. I like Matt Riddle. Where's Matt Riddle at? I can't. Is that Tampa Bay?
Yes, he's Tampa Bay.
And
Yeah.
Ricochet. Wow.
Why is Ricochet in Baltimore? Or I'm sorry, Baltimore, Boston.
Maybe they were just in town that weekend. That's probably what.
And 88.
Look at for most of these because
Why 88?
AJ would throw out at an Atlanta game because he's been living in Georgia his whole life.
Yeah.
Yep. And Gargano's from Cleveland.
Yeah,
So
that one makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, wait a minute.
Seth Rollins
he's from Davenport, Iowa.
He's from Iowa.
He's from Davenport, I think. He should be throwing out the Quad City River Bandits.
Yeah, and he actually threw out the first pitch at a Quad City River Bandits.
Oh,
game.
he did. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, he did.
So he gets a free pass, right? Because he doesn't have a major league.
It's all good. It's all good. Yep. And because he's a champion, so like there they go. The mascot gets to wear the championship. It's all good.
Yep.
Big deal.
Yep. There, Shinsuke Nakamura in Texas, and actually we talked about this a lot. There's a reason because Yu Darvish was pitching for the Rangers at this time.
So that's the interesting part, Alan. This is when he was in New Japan.
Oh, really?
That was years, but this is like in the 2000s when he threw out this first pitch at a Rangers game, just randomly. Like I don't know what the end goal was. They're just trying to maybe just get publicity or what. I'm like, why is Shinsuke throwing out first pitch in the mid 2000s at a Ranger game? Just so random.
Yeah, he's got great form.
I read somewhere that I believe that I think it's Ohtani that travels over for baseball every single year.
Yep.
Is it Ohtani?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, he travels over and he tries to be very discreet about it and just to go to stadiums. And I read that and I was like, that's awesome because that's exactly what I do.
Yeah, there you go.
Except no one knows who I am, so it's not a big deal.
Actually, I think Okada is the one.
Oh, okay.
Okada. Yeah, it was Okada.
He went to San Francisco.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I think there was a game we were at that Okada was actually at in Anaheim.
Oh, no kidding.
There was a New Japan was running in Long Beach for one of their shows. And the wrestling show was on a Sunday, and that Friday. I found out later, I think him and Tanahashi might have been there too, but they were at least Okada for sure was at Angels game to see Ohtani. I'm like, and I think there was a photo of them together. I might be mixing my info up, but I know that Ohtani was at the game. I'm sorry. Okada went to Ohtani game. They're like, that's great. Tying the worlds together. The Rainmaker. Yes.
Rainmaker.
Yeah. Is that Josh? Who's the Jack? Oh, that's Braun Strowman. Okay. I'm like, whoa.
Strowman, yeah, Elias, Daniel Bryan for the Diamondbacks because he was living in
he lives in Arizona, I think.
Yeah, and in Vegas too.
Originally he's from the Seattle area, so I mean, but then again, you talk about baseball tie-in. The yes thing was like a big thing for the Giants when they had that World Series run in the 2010s.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. It was a big part of their push of that third championship, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, so Flair and Charlotte Flair there in Chicago. Flair's flip flops. He has so many allegiances. He's like Dusty. Whenever Dusty would like all of a sudden wear like Lakers gear or Boston Celtics gear, stuff like that.
But let me talk about this real quick. So
all right.
Back in the day, Flair was a huge Lakers fan and Dusty was a huge Celtics fan. And they would actually play it they would play it up in their promos against each other. So that was actually really fun. Like Flair would be saying, Flair did some promo where he was saying, Larry Bird, I'm Magic Johnson. And like starts doing some basketball moves during his interview. I'm like, what is happening here? And then Dusty was a huge Celtics fan. So I'm like, wait a minute. In my world, that means Ric Flair is my baby face, not Dusty.
So, Allan, let me ask you this question real quickly.
Yep.
Do you ever what would be a kind of a milestone in your career? Wouldn't it be great if you threw out a first pitch at a game?
I have.
What?
With
Yeah.
who?
I didn't know that.
At the Vancouver Canadians game, I threw out a first pitch. There was a charity event, and there was one of the things was throw out a first pitch, and of course I bid up the moon. And yeah, no, I threw out a first pitch to Kevin Biggio.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So like they typically do it, and they had like those plastic covered like novelty balls.
Yeah.
And I messaged the Canadians, and I was like, please just give me a real ball. I don't care. I'll pay for it. Just give me a real ball. I don't want to throw out a plastic ball. And they did it, and I got Kevin to sign it, and it was definitely a bucket list item that I got to cross off.
Do you have that near you?
I don't. It's in my boxes, but yeah.
Right. So when you played baseball, were you a pitcher? Because you mentioned your arm earlier. That's why I was asking.
I wasn't, but because my team was so bad, I was.
Okay.
So I was out of necessity. I was a guy that had to pitch.
So in this situation, were you smart enough to not be on the mound? Because that's what throws a lot of people off in their first pitch.
I think I was in front of the rubber.
Good.
But
you weren't down. Okay.
I still almost overthrew him.
Oh no. Because if you look at most like really bad, I mean, there's a lot of them on YouTube of bad first ball pitches. Most of those people are on the mound.
Yeah.
And like, the Baba Booey one's like one of the most infamous ones, from Howard Stern. It's like, oh, like, no. Yeah. That's where you got to learn. Like, don't be on the mound. Be in front of it.
Yeah, but remember,
everybody wants to be up there.
Yeah.
2001, George Bush, Derek Jeter told George Bush, you have to do it from the rubber.
All right. There you go.
And he threw a strike.
Yeah.
He did.
Threw a strike. Big deal. Yeah. Carly Rae Jepsen, 50 Cent, the mayor of Cincinnati, Baba Booey. Not
Papa Flunky.
Da dummy.
Oh yeah, we'll get started on Howard Stern stuff. Sorry,
we have so many like Howard Stern references, but so Allan, let me ask you. We're gonna wrap this up. We would gone an hour and 45 minutes, which is nuts. I knew that we would. We could go 3 hours with this. Yep. We could never stop.
Thank you for joining us this long.
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
100%. That is it. And that is one of my personal goals with this. What we're doing right now to throw out a first pitch.
Not me. You can do it.
I can't wait. Now here's the trouble with this.
Yeah.
So when I was in high school, I actually threw out my arm. So probably, I was 18 at the time. I totally threw out my arm. I still tried to like muddle through it. But I ruined my arm in wrestling. So I actually hurt. When we were training, Kevin, in Rev Pro early, we actually tried to do some stuff, and I screwed. I 2 out of the 3 tendons that hold your shoulder together, gone. Okay, I muddled through it through my career. I actually have no strength in my arm.
Oh, geez.
So I actually have to rehab my arm. I was actually thinking, because I'm such a baseball fan, to get Tommy John surgery, whatever the equivalent of your shoulder up, because I'm such a fan. But I actually have a soft, and actually Major League Baseball it's a softball that you actually can practice.
Yeah.
My goal is to throw out our first pitch. So
right.
I'm super envious, Alan, that you got to do that.
That's
Super envious.
You had to pay for it. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You had
It went to charity.
Biggio catcher. Like that's fantastic.
That's bananas. That's so awesome.
That's why
awesome.
I'm glad I had you on the show. I'm glad. I'm like, I still will get some nuggets out of you. I'm like, man, we definitely got some gold there. It was good gold here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I look forward to doing that. Kevin he'll be up in the stands waving me
I'll be
on.
drunk. It's fine. Can I introduce you? I feel like, ladies and gentlemen, throwing out the first pitch tonight is the founder of the Beer Baseball blog, Michael Disco Machine.
I'm going full Juan Marichal, full leg kick, full everything, because that's you have to do that. You can't short arm it. That's the whole thing. You have to pitch it like you're gonna pitch.
I'm gonna say do 3 pitchers. You either do Juan Marichal, Luis Tiant, or Dan Quisenberry.
I'm not doing Luis Tiant because there's no way. What's the other pitcher? The guy for the Giants who actually does that kind of the shimmy. Who am I thinking of?
I can't remember right now. Sorry.
Cueto. Johnny Cueto.
Oh yeah, Johnny Cueto. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna do that one. Quisenberry. Oh my God. I can't remember doing a Kent Colve or a Dan Quizman. No way in hell.
Can you do a Phil Necro? I said, can you do a knuckleball? That'd be fantastic. Let's go full circle. Let's go back to knuckleball.
I think I could, but it wouldn't pop the crowd. That's for darn sure. The thing that pops the crowd is a nice, firm fastball right in there, right in the gut, right? Yeah. Don't bounce it. Don't throw it over. Right in the gut.
And you're gonna do Juan Marichal and pull that off. Good luck, sir. You better start practicing now.
That's the only way I can throw a straight pitch is doing a high leg kick.
Wow. I didn't even get your leg up that high, sir. That's good.
Trust me. I'm almost 51. I can get it up there. Trust me.
Whoa. Come on now.
I'm 50.
Yeah. I'm not quite yet, sir.
So Ed, Mr. Excitement says, please come back, Alan. So I highly
finished. I don't think we even finished the slides we had. And I had that fear. I'm like, Ross, we're going to go like an hour and 30 minutes.
We actually did. We actually did. And so Alan, like, where can we see you? Are you wrestling these days, or is it like on hold?
Well, nothing up in Canada is open. Most recent wrestling I did was for a company that we film stuff. It's called SOS Pro Wrestling. We did like a 7-episode first season type thing. They're like 30 minutes long. It's kind of Lost, Gilligan's Island meets Lucha Underground type of stuff. It's a lot of fun. So other than that, the last time I wrestled before that was probably March. So locally, I don't know when anything's going to open up, but hopefully sometime in 2021.
Is that SOS stuff on YouTube or anywhere where we can watch it?
Yeah, SOS Pro Wrestling on YouTube. We've done 6 episodes so far, and the season finale is on December 22nd.
Hopefully not 6 p.m. when we're doing our show. Just kidding.
8 p.m.
Because I'm like, that's a Tuesday. Wait a minute, that's a Tuesday.
No, 8 p.m. 8 p.m.
All right, that's good. I can watch it after. Perfect.
Awesome. Yeah. So definitely let us know so we can promote you and get you out there. Anything we can do to help you. One of the things that's really great about wrestling is that the brotherhood and really, like I said, it's one of the, I have friends that I only know because of wrestling. I'm looking at one right here in Taro, Ed Brown. Alan, you're my brother, and far as all this goes, and that's one of the great things that I love about this. It doesn't matter who you are. We have this kinship, and we definitely will promote you. Anything that you need to help you get to the next level, we're going to help you do.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, and Cowboy Jack. Yeah. I think he's talking. Is he talking about Blue Chew? Is it the promo code for Blue Chew?
Cowboy Jack's trying to get a Blue Chew promo code out there.
Yeah,
working on that for a bit.
Mr. Excitement. I mean, he's been my friend for over 20 years. It's because of wrestling. So that's the beauty of this. I mean, we can have falling out, but we all have that common thread of wrestling, which is definitely one of those things. Definitely. Where can we see you? Where can we find out about you?
You search Allan Jepsen on YouTube. You'll see a few matches there. Social media, we got Instagram, The Big Herd Allan Jepsen, and Twitter, Allan Jepsen 24. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Mainly, I'll be promoting SOS for the next little while, as it's the only thing that we can do while there's no actual live shows.
Yeah. So be safe out there, and it's a weird time. 2021. I wish I was more optimistic about 2021. I know. But just be safe, and don't. I would say don't do anything stupid, but it's tough because we're all trying to make money, and so we have to figure out what we need to do in these times. Canada is much different than the United States in this, and for instance, I live in LA, it's one thing. Kevin lives in Orange County, it's a super different thing. So is that happening in Canada as well, or is it all the same? For instance, Orange County basically is no restrictions. LA County has restrictions. So
I'll explain really quick. There are restrictions, but here's the thing. The Orange County Sheriff's Department has flat out said, don't call us if people are not following, wearing masks and gathering. We're not going to answer that phone call. We're not going to do anything about it. That was actually a tweet from the Orange County Sheriff's Department. I'm like, okay. I'm just staying in here, my little apartment, and I just go get my work. I go get food and beer occasionally. And I leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's pretty much province by province. It's province by province.
Okay.
The numbers out east are much worse than they are out west. They're still not great here, but hopefully, as the vaccine starts getting out there, it gets a little better.
Yeah.
Let's cross our fingers. I've been locked down here since March, literally 100%. I have a immune compromised girlfriend. Her parents are here as well, so I'm I've been here. This is why my hair is I haven't got a haircut. I've got a one haircut. Thank God my hair still grows. Thank God.
I want the mullet. He had a mullet in the 90s. I want the mullet.
Mullet's coming.
We're getting there.
It's literally halfway there.
I know.
My 90s mullet.
Oh, it was glorious.
Glorious. Yeah, I might have to have a picture of that. I can actually reach behind my back and touch my mullet. So I'm more Duran Duran now than I am anything else.
Of course, you're gonna say that. His favorite band, by the way.
I would aspire to be John Taylor and Duran Duran.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's my hair. So so I'm okay with it. I wanted to soft launch this one. This is actually kind of big news for us. We actually have a Patreon account. So if you are still here watching this, I don't know how. It's almost like going on 2 hours. We actually have a Patreon account. If there's going to be a hero that steps up and actually joins one of our tiers, we're actually going to super promote this on our next Beer Baseball blogcast. But go to patreon.com, look up Beer Baseball. You can actually get one of the tiers. You might be able to be in one of the I would say the Hoppy Hour. We're actually gonna if you get the highest tier, you can actually jump into the Hoppy Hour and be a part of this. And we also have an Etsy store as well that we're selling stickers and look at that. There's the beer coaster and everything. Yeah. So we have a whole bunch of that. So that's how you can support us. We have all these social media. Join us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And we're actually on Twitch. Is there anybody watching on Twitch? I can actually look at that. One person watching on Twitch. If you're out there watching on Twitch, say hello. We want to know that you're out there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
So Mr. Excitement says hockey hair. I wish it was hockey hair. Oh, yeah. That's what my 90s look was. Definitely the soccer rocker or the hockey hair. They used to call it the schlong, which was short on the top, long in the back. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a big soccer fan, so like I definitely I took it too far. Definitely.
You can never take it too far here.
Yeah.
We're good.
So Kevin, do you have anything that you want to promote?
If you want to follow what I'm getting into, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Lock and Low, LOKNLOLL. Or I say all the time, if you have a local brewery, support them, especially right now. We want these small breweries to stick around. If you like a major league team, look up their minor league affiliate, support them, please.
Yeah. So thank you, David, for hanging out for all 2 hours. Thank you so much. It's really awesome. It's really awesome. And we appreciate all your support. And we actually throw these up here kind of randomly. We're actually going to have another Hoppy Hour next Saturday talking about Japanese baseball.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
The Beer Baseball Blogcast, Tuesdays. It's our regular time. So check us out. It's at 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. Yes. So I it's kind of weird. Like, I wish we could do it earlier, but Kevin has a job.
Wow, I have a job even in a pandemic. Yes, sir. And there's the joke. Like every Tuesday, like at the Tuesdays lately, I'd be like, "Oh, you gotta stay late." I'm like, "Great, thanks." So I'll be late on this Tuesday show. I already told Michael that, but thank you, Paul. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Paul, for hanging out. This has been a lot of fun.
It's so much fun.
Allan, thank you so much. We'll definitely have you back. I mean, as much as we talked about, I'm sure we have a lot more to talk about.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's always more.
So thank you so much. Hang out for a second, Allan. We will see you next Tuesday. Join us for the Beer Baseball Blogcast. Next Saturday, we'll be have another Hoppy Hour. So join us then. Good night. Take care.